All right, welcome everyone. Today, we're going to unlock some serious secrets. We're diving deep into the power of Flutter animation. We're going to learn the Jutsu that makes an app feel responsive, intuitive, and just genuinely alive.
Okay, so before we even think about starting our training, we have to remember the #1 rule in the Flutter world. Your entire UI, everything you see on screen, is just a tree of widgets. They are the building blocks, and today, we learn how to make those blocks move.
So here's our mission briefing for today. We're going to start the Genin level with some simple implicit techniques. Then we'll level up to Chunin, mastering our chakra control with explicit animations. And finally, we'll reach Jonin level performance before we see how all these jutsu are used out in the wild.
Okay, let's get right into it. The big mission. You might be asking, why even bother with animation? And that's a fair question. The thing is, a static app, it just feels clunky. It feels dead. A really well-placed animation isn't just for show. It actually guides the user's eye, it gives them feedback, and it creates that polished, professional experience that just makes an app feel incredible.
All right, time for our first lesson. Every great ninja starts with the absolute basics, and it's no different for us. So we're going to begin with the simplest animation jutsu in Flutter's entire arsenal, the implicit animations. These things are designed for maximum impact with minimal, and I mean minimal, code. Perfect for your first mission.
Okay, now this is where the magic starts. Just look at how simple this is. On the left, you've got a normal container. If you change its width, it just snaps instantly. Kind of jarring, right? But look at the right. All we did was change it to an animated container and give it a duration. Now, when the width changes, Flutter handles the entire smooth transition for you. That's literally it. So cool.
And it doesn't stop with just containers. The Flutter framework gives us this whole awesome toolkit of animated widgets. Need to fade something in or out? You've got animated opacity. Need to slide an icon into the perfect spot? Animated positioned is your friend. These are your go-to jutsu for all the common UI effects, and you don't have to write any complicated animation code.
Okay, so you've passed the first test. Let's level up. The implicit stuff is great, it's powerful, but to really pass the tuning exams, you need more precision, you need more control. So welcome to the world of explicit animations, where we take total control over every single frame.
I want you to think of the animation controller as the very source of your chakra. Seriously, this is the engine that powers every single jutsu from here on out. What it does is generate this constant stream of values from 0 to 1 over a time you set. It's your control panel. You can tell it to play, stop, loop, or even run in reverse.
Okay, so the controller gives us this raw power, this number between 0 and 1. But what do you do with that, right? What if you need to animate something from, say, 50 pixels wide all the way to 400? Well, that's exactly what a tween is for. It defines the path. It takes the controller's simple 0 to 1 output and tweens it or maps it to any range you need, whether that's a size, a color, or even an angle of rotation.
And here's where we add the real style, the flair to our technique. I mean, a perfectly straight, linear animation. It just feels robotic. It's not natural. A curved animation makes things feel physical. It actually bends the flow of the animation so your widget can ease in slowly, or speed up, or even bounce to a stop with a curve like curves.bounce out. This is how you give your UI some real personality. So let's put it all together. This is the crucial 4-step combination jutsu. Step 1, you create your animation controller to handle the timing. Step 2, you define your start and end points with a tween. Step 3, you add that realistic motion, that style, with a curved animation. And finally, Step 4, you apply that changing value to actually transform your widget. All right, you've made it this far, you're powerful. But true masters know that raw power isn't enough. It has to be efficient. You could just call set state every time the animation ticks, but that rebuilds your entire screen, which causes lag, or what we call jank. And the Jonin level technique is all about eliminating that jank. I love this comparison because it hits the nail on the head. Using state set to animate is literally like rebuilding the entire village just to move a single cart across the street. It's incredibly wasteful. The Jonin way is to use animated builder. This widget is a specialist. It's a sniper. It wraps only the widget that needs to change and rebuilds absolutely nothing else. This is the real secret to getting those flawlessly smooth 60 frames per second animations.
Okay, theory is great. Practice is better. But now let's see how these animation jutsu are actually used out in the real world.
in mission-critical applications. Because these techniques, they aren't just for practice. They're the foundation of professional apps that millions of people use every single day.
You've got the Hamilton app with its super slick page transitions, the My BMW app. Its dashboard is incredibly responsive. And we're talking about massive companies here. Nubank, one of the biggest digital banks on the planet. Grab, the super app of Southeast Asia. They all rely on Flutter's powerful animation engine to deliver a modern, smooth user experience. It's non-negotiable.
And just like that, your initial training is complete. You now hold the scroll of knowledge. We've covered the simple implicit jutsu, we've fine-tuned our control with explicit animations, and we've reached elite-level optimization. The next step isn't just to watch, it's to open up your editor and start practicing. So the real question is, what jutsu will you use to bring your UI to life?